Let's dive right into this explainer. Picture this. You're a wildlife officer, hacking your way through incredibly dense jungle, tracking a creature that's not only wildly dangerous, but desperately needs your help. We're talking about Agbo, a massive wild elephant, and the absolute roller coaster of a collaborative effort it took to save his life.
So, it begs the question, how exactly do you treat an angry, unpredictable, multi-ton patient? Meet Agbo. He's this majestic, wild, tusked elephant, but he's suffering from a severely painful leg infection. And let me tell you, this creates a total nightmare of a medical scenario for the officers on the ground. You can't exactly ask a wild elephant to just take a seat in the waiting room. His agonizing pain makes him super defensive, which instantly turns what should be a routine medical intervention into a highly volatile tactical operation.
Section 1. A giant in pain. What really strikes me about this initial encounter is the sheer, nerve-wracking tension in the air. Honestly, you can almost feel the anxiety as the team tries to locate this limping giant through the thick foliage. I mean, every snapped twig is a massive red flag. The jungle is just buzzing with tension. Agbo is trumpeting, he's charging, he's breaking branches left and right. As the team gets closer, this agitated giant raises his massive trunk, screams out his distress, and literally charges right at the retreating officers. He's just doing what his instincts tell him, protecting that infected leg by fighting off anyone who dares to get too close.
To really get what's going on in Agbo's head, we've got to look at the infection itself. We are talking about severe, deep inflammation in his swollen leg that's radiating immense pain. So he isn't just some angry monster in the jungle, right? He's a highly vulnerable patient reacting to pure agony. This pain forces him to favor that leg, which totally throws off his weight distribution and makes literally every single step he takes a massive, exhausting burden.
Section 2. Delivering the cure.
Because once you wrap your head around the danger and the pain, the real puzzle begins. How do these wildlife experts actually get the medicine into him without causing a total disaster? Well, extreme caution is non-negotiable here. The vet team has to follow a super strict protocol. First up, maintain a safe distance, absolutely crucial. Second, prep the antibiotic dart gun. Third, administer the meds without ever making direct physical contact. And finally, track and monitor him through all that dense bush. That is the exact playbook they use to shoot life-saving antibiotics into him while actively dodging a multi-ton charge.
A huge part of this strategy actually comes down to guiding the giant. The handlers are carefully tracking Agbo as he basically trudges through this thick, unforgiving vegetation. And they do something really clever. They use targeted vocal commands to actively steer him away from hazards, like the waterhole, and push him toward more visible spots, like near some utility poles. This gives the vet team the visibility they need to safely monitor his labored movements and, find that absolutely perfect window to hit him with further treatment darts.
Section 3. Seeking comfort in nature.
Okay, the pacing of our story slows down just a bit here. After the wild stress of the encounter and the darting, an absolutely exhausted Agbo retreats to a muddy watering hole. And even here, just standing in the shallow puddles, you can really see the severe toll this infection has taken. He's constantly, uncomfortably shifting that massive weight, just begging for a fleeting second of relief. Now, to an untrained eye, when he violently throws mud all over his back, it might just look like a random aggressive tantrum, but actually, it's a brilliant, instinctual attempt at self-soothing. That thick, wet mud acts like a giant natural compress, cooling down his body heat and temporarily numbing that searing pain in his leg.
And look at this stark contrast in his behavior. Remember the agitated, charging elephant screaming his lungs out in the jungle? Well, as those antibiotics finally kick in and start reducing the internal swelling, Agbo completely transforms. He goes from this highly defensive, pained animal to a calm, dignified giant. He's just leaning against a branch for support, gently swishing his tail back and forth, peacefully scanning the riverbank. It's like night and day.
Section 4. Community steps up.
Now, the clinical science and the antibiotics are obviously crucial, but medicine is honestly only half the cure here. It literally takes a village to bridge the gap between getting a shot and actually surviving. The wildlife officers bring supplies to the locals, and then the villagers step up to haul these incredibly heavy bags of pumpkins. They carefully arrange this buffet in an open field and then coordinate round-the-clock observation from a safe distance. It just goes to show the sheer, massive volume of collaborative effort it takes to establish a safe, nutritional healing routine for Agbo.
Section 5. The road to recovery.
So, sensing this massive feast prepared by the community, Agbo slowly makes his way into the open field. And this brings us to a really visually and honestly emotionally satisfying conclusion right in nature's dining room.
His dexterity is just wild to watch, despite the obvious pain he's still in. It's absolutely mesmerizing to see his massive tusks gleaming, while his trunk works in just perfect harmony. With this incredible, gentle precision, he skillfully scoops up these giant pumpkins the villagers left for him, taking these slow, deliberate, totally calculated bites.
Think about where we started. The really grim reality of a horribly swollen, painful foot that was crippling his mobility and utterly exhausting him. But look at the payoff of all this collaborative care. We've got a calm demeanor, a huge appetite, and the real acquisition of strength. By chowing down on this super nutritious offering from the villagers, Agbo is banking the vital energy he needs to support his injured leg. He is showing clear, undeniable signs of recovery.
Which brings us to a final, pretty vital question. What does Agbo's ongoing journey teach us about the profound impact of combining hard clinical science with everyday community kindness? Wrapping up this explainer, you really have to marvel at Agbo's immense resilience. When you take expert veterinary strategy and you mix it with the simple, powerful compassion of a local community, even the most explosive, dangerous situations can be turned around. I'll leave you with that thought to chew on and an open invitation to seek out and follow the rest of Agbo's incredible journey to recovery.